Okay, welcome everybody to the April, Florida chapter of the Association of Inspectors General Lunch. I'm Bob Clift. I work at Florida Department of Transportation, and I'm this year's president of the local chapter. Glad to see such a big turnout here today. We've got a nice program to go through, and the first person that I'd like to introduce on the program is Charles McCool. Charles is from the Department of Transportation. Come on up, Charles. And he's going to speak a little bit about some auditor training that the Chief Inspector General's Office, DOT, and the Florida chapter of the association have put together coming up in the near future.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to say that. We have an outstanding training opportunity that's coming up at the end of the summer. It's actually going to be July 31 through August 2nd for the IG community. And the theme is going to be the big picture, a call to action, the IG role as a means of adding value to the organization. You've probably heard some variations on the theme about that over time. It's going to be 2.5 days. It's going to be sort of fast-paced, but also thorough at the same time. I'm having the privilege and honor of working with Dawn and Joe and Chris on this, coordinating it. It's going to be at FDLE. We've sent an email out requesting presenters, and we got a great response. Thank you all very much who have volunteered. If there's anyone else who'd like to volunteer or otherwise throw themselves on the sword, we'd appreciate that. And also, just want to let you know that you'll be getting further details as time goes by. Of course, we have a little time. We're developing the agenda. And forthcoming will be emails. We'll inform you of the particulars. If you have any questions, you can always contact me at DOT or contact Dawn or Joe or Chris. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
Let's see, so I've got an introduction for a fairly new feature in our Florida chapter luncheon starting this month. Thais Wilson, who's sitting over there behind the camera, is also from DOT OIG, and she is joining us. You know, in this chapter we have the most membership of any of the chapters in the Association of Inspector General at over 250 folks, but not all of us are here. Big contingent in Miami, some in Tampa, some in West Palm Beach, now a new office in Broward County. And those outlying areas have asked us whether or not we could do something to record our events, especially our guest speakers, so that they could take advantage of the opportunity of hearing from those people as well. So Thais is here on her own time with her own camera equipment, helping the association out for that. So we give Thais a big hand. All right, and next, maybe we could ask Jerry Chestnut, who is our treasurer, to give us a brief treasurer's report.
I can. Like usual, we're doing well. We have cash in the bank of $19,077. The National owes us $1,465, and we have a $50 change fund that we were using this morning that we ran out of after 5 minutes. But we're doing extremely well.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. One announcement of special interest to those of us here in Florida: the next Association of Inspectors General Institutes, which is the full set, Certified Inspector General Auditor, Certified Inspector General Investigator, and Certified Inspector General, will be held in West Palm Beach. The date has changed. It was previously set for earlier in August, but now it's set for the week of August 20th. So we know a lot of state agencies have restrictions on out-of-state travel for training. This is in-state travel for us, and we can't guarantee how many more opportunities we're going to have in the real near future to have this training in the state of Florida. So for those of you who would like to get one of those certifications, now might be a good opportunity for you to check with your inspectors general and your agency heads and make applications. All right, is there anybody in the audience today that has any announcements, any vacancies that they're advertising in their Office of Inspector General, or anybody who's moved to new positions in their agency? Jim Boyd.
Okay, we've got what I expect to be reclassified to an SMA2 audit position. We're particularly interested in somebody that's got either IT or CATS type training, and then we've also got two inspector specialists, pay grade 24 positions that have just come available that we're looking for investigative staff for those.
Great, okay, thank you very much, Jim. Anybody else? Okay, well, one announcement from the Department of Transportation. We're lucky enough to have recently hired Howard Greenfield, who is in the back, into our previously vacant Director of Investigations position. Howard came to us from Department of Juvenile Justice, where he did that grueling job for 6 years or so. So we're welcoming you back to the Department of Transportation. Okay, and now I'd like to introduce our Chief Inspector General, Melinda Miguel, who's also the President of the National Chapter of Association of Inspectors General and our close ally, to introduce our guest speaker.
Thank you, Bob. Welcome, everybody. It's great to see you. I'd like to ask those of you that recently passed the exam for the CIGI or the CIGA to please stand and be recognized. Round of applause for our colleagues. Congratulations. They attended a week-long grueling session in Clearwater recently in February and completed their certifications. So welcome to the elite group of those that are certified in Inspector General profession. I'd like to take a moment also just to make mention of the fact that we as Inspectors General are uniquely situated in the mission that we are here to accomplish, in that we need to be exercising all due diligence and care in the exercise of our professional duties. One of the things and the ways that we accomplish that is through certification. And the way that we strive for excellence in our profession is to seek training and advancement through members or organizations such as the Association of Inspectors General, the IIA, and others. I recently had an opportunity to have a conversation with one of my colleagues over in Australia. He's the city auditor for Brisbane, Australia. And we were sharing some concepts and thoughts about some of the initiatives that they are doing over there in their continent as it relates to being value added and relevant in their organizations. One of the projects that they're undertaking happens to be very similar to the project that some of our healthcare inspectors general here in Florida are also undertaking. And that has to do with data sharing agreements, data sharing, continuous monitoring, and looking and detecting based upon, rather than a sample size, but the 100% population of certain data information that we might have available in our agencies. So I just wanted to share with you Chris Hurst, Marvin Doyle, and Eric Miller's accomplishments that they are working on currently as it relates to some very cutting-edge projects in the state of Florida on data sharing and helping to identify trends and patterns, and how that is playing very well and nicely with our colleagues in other continents across the world. And so I've got an opportunity to present some of their work coming up in Boston in July with the International Institute of Internal Auditors. So I'll be working with them to compile some information, but I'd like to bring that opportunity to discuss that particular project to you guys first before we go talk about it in Boston in July. So stay tuned to further hone the presentation of the work of our colleagues here in Florida. I'm very, very proud of the group as they move forward on these cutting-edge issues. I'm very proud of the group here as well that just passed your certification. Those are two ways that we are working towards achieving excellence in our profession. I think that that kind of ties in very nicely with our presenter today, because our presenter today is a woman that is known for achieving and transcending excellence in law enforcement and in government in ways that are new, the ways that streamline government, the ways that are cost-cutting, cost savings, and identification of some best practices. When I first became aware of some of Julie Jones's accomplishments, it was when she was the colonel for law enforcement over at the Fish and Wildlife Commission. I became aware of her more as a individual that had worked with the Inspector General on how to do internal affairs investigations on those most sensitive cases when allegations of fraud, waste, abuse, or allegations of misconduct have been filed against sworn law enforcement personnel. And I reached out to Jim Knight, the Inspector General at FWC, back in 2003, and he shared with me what he and Julie Jones had implemented in their agency. And I was able to adopt their practices and their policies and procedures in my own agency at the time when I was the Inspector General at the Office of Attorney General. And so we were able to capitalize on the efforts and best practices that Julie Jones stands for and has implemented and kind of forged the way for us in the internal affairs arena from a state perspective. I'm so proud today to introduce Julie Jones. We've had so many opportunities where I've been able to observe her quietly in a major stage or a setting where she probably has no idea that I'm watching carefully and watching with admiration and appreciation for what she is all about. But she recently chaired the task force on law enforcement consolidation, and really appreciate the opportunity to collaborate with her on that. She was our sponsor for the Inspector General investigative team, and I don't want to go into further details in case that she gets the chance to elaborate about just that project in her presentation today. But I want to share with you a couple of things about Julie Jones that I did not know about until today whenever I was reading her bio. But she started off in the profession back in the 80s as a biologist. She had a master's and bachelor's degree from FAU, and then she went on and became in law enforcement, went to the Law Enforcement Academy, and then was promoted up through the ranks. She was promoted all the way to the colonel for FWC and the director for law enforcement, the Division of Law Enforcement there. When in 2007, the governor and the cabinet unanimously appointed Julie Jones to be the executive director of Florida Highway Safety Motor Vehicles. And with that came an opportunity for her to now have over 27 years of experience in leadership as both a public servant and also in a law enforcement arena. But I have been so impressed with the opportunity to observe her when she's testified before cabinet or she's chaired the Law Enforcement Consolidation Task Force, to watch how she just brings such integrity, professionalism, and a calm sense of professionalism and dedication that she brings to the group. Level-headed, and the opportunity to watch her navigate some of these very difficult and challenging issues has been a true honor for me as I see how she's taken on these challenges. So without further ado, I would like to invite Julie Jones to the podium for her presentation. Would you please welcome Julie Jones today with a warm welcome.
Thank you, Melinda. I'm gonna just kind of stand in the middle here. It has always been a pleasure in my life, and I don't think you'll find very many people that will be honest to say this and mean it honestly. I have enjoyed every minute that I've worked, probably since 2002 when I was the colonel, with my respective IG offices. Julie Latheris will tell you I fully support IG work. We're in a unique position now at Highway Safety where I think we've successfully trained our executive leadership team now to go to Julie before she goes to them, which is good. And I think the team here that's with Highway Safety will tell you we needed someone with a strong audit background, because the 2009 fee increases that went through Highway Safety increased the revenue that we collect to $2.5 billion. We actually put our hands on more money than the Department of Revenue. And we need good fiscal processes, we need oversight. Julie's shop has looked at soup to nuts. Some of our partners, tax collectors, she's working on finishing an audit. The